What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about a new player's guide to Gods Unchained. We're going to discuss ranks, Flux in the Gauntlet, Starseed in the Star Store, how to modify and build a deck, and Gods Unchained resources. So let's dive right in. You earn Flux, Starseed, and XP, all from winning games. So let's take a look at what happens when you win a game. So now that we've won the game, we'll get to see what happens. And so I'm going to gain 225 base XP, plus I won the game, so I get 100 victory XP. And that just unlocked all kinds of things. I've got these 2-packs I just unlocked. This is for the Star Store, and this is Flux. Flux is for fusing. So let's see how we got 600 Starseed. Very nice. What does all this mean? This means I just ranked up. So every time you get a loss, shield starts to crack. And you could possibly fall back a rank if you lose enough games in a row before getting shielded. So I'll need to win approximately 2 or 3 games. And then once that bar is up to here and I'm shielded, even if my shield cracks from losing 3 or 4 games before getting up to here, I will still be okay. I'll drop back down to here, but I won't drop down a rank. I'll stay at Rusted Iron, and then I'll have to get back to Shielded again. And then if I were to win another 5 games or so before losing 4-ish, then I'd make it up to Purified Iron. And then the shield moves a little bit further, I think, each time, so it gets a little bit more difficult to stay in the higher ranks. And that's how ranks work. And how Flux works is, now that I won my first game of the day with Nature, there are multiple pips you can see here. So there's 2 empty ones. I won 1 game, and I can win 2 more with Nature to earn more Flux. I've also unlocked the 2 gods adjacent, and every day this is randomized, and you can't tell where they are until you've played 1 game. And then you'll see which ones you've unlocked that are adjacent. So I could go ahead and play a light game now if I wanted to and earn some Flux, but I could not play Magic yet. So if I played light and won a game, it would then unlock the adjacent god to light, and then I'd be able to play Magic, and then once I won a game with Magic, I'd be able to play a game with War. And if I didn't want to go around this direction, I could play a game with Death, which would unlock Deception. And you can win 3 different times with each god per day, and it resets. You can see down here, it resets in 3 hours at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So depending on where you are in the world, it will be different, but same time every day. One last important thing to note about the Gauntlet is that the more wins you get per god, the amount of Flux you earn goes up. And additionally, the more gods you unlock and get wins for, the amount of Flux goes up. And an even bigger jump is between the ranks. So this is the best reason to rank up to Mythic. At Bronze, doing the entire Gauntlet will net you 65 Flux for 18 wins. Whereas being a Mythic player and doing the full Gauntlet will get you 1,310 Flux for the whole Gauntlet. So you earn, I believe, 40 for your first win in Mythic, and you get 65 for the entire Gauntlet at Bronze. So you definitely want to rank up so you can earn a lot more Flux. All right, but before you fire up a ranked game, you're going to want to go ahead and take a look at your decks. So we'll go to the Workshop tab, and you'll see you have a bunch of starter decks. The starter decks are not great. They are just that. They're starter decks. So click on one of the starter decks, and you can start modifying it. So, for instance, there's not a lot of early game in this deck, which is not going to go well. You're not going to get to the late game if you have absolutely no early game. So there's only 1 Vanguard Axewoman. We definitely want a second one. Now, notice it won't let me add another one because we already have 30 out of 30. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing some cards. And now that I'm at 29 out of 30, I can add another one. And once you're done modifying the deck, you can just hit save. And it's going to take that starter deck and it's going to create a copy. So you're not going to ever write over the start decks, which is good if you ever need to go back and start over again. And rather than call it Nature Starter Copy, you can see the edit button is now available. And you can name it whatever you want. So you can call it Nature Leech Life, which is the name of a god power. And then hit save, and you can see it's now called Nature Leech Life. And now when I go back to the arena, I can pick which deck I want to play. Hit select, and now it's selected, and I can play a match with this deck. All right, next up, if you need some help building decks, and you want to modify those starter decks and find a better way to make starter decks, or once you start to grow your core collection, you want to look at some other people's decks and see what's going on, or you just want to look at your own stats, you can check out gudex.com. This is the best website for all your Gods Unchained information. You can see how many wins you have currently during the weekend ranked. If you get 30, you get a free rare pack. You can see how you performed during the weekend ranked. You can see your MMR chart. You can see your different stats on your decks, how you've performed. But let's take a look at the decks and see how we can improve those starter decks without much effort. We can search for the name of the deck. We can search for starter, and you can see here there are a bunch of improved starter decks that Green Guy generously created a few months back. And you can just click on one. It's going to load up the improved version that he created just with starter welcome set cards. You can then, of course, swap out some of these cards with your core cards as you unlock them and make it even better. But this is more recommended as a starter deck than the actual starter decks that are in the game. They are pretty bad as is, so definitely check this out. Check out gudex.com for all of your card information, meta information, all kinds of information here. Make sure you check out godsunchained.com, obviously. But if you scroll all the way down on their page, you could find their Discord link right here. And I cannot recommend it more to join their Discord. That's where they post all their information, status updates when they're putting out, releasing the weekend ranked pack rewards. There's all kinds of information going on there. And you can just ask questions freely, and the community will just respond. So if you're new and you have questions, you can always get help there. And lastly, if you're looking to buy and sell some cards, you can always hit up tokentrove.com. There are a couple marketplaces. There's an in-game marketplace. You can go to OpenSea.com. But the most liquid market with the most activity is Token Trove right now. And I think it's also the most user-friendly. It looks the nicest. I like Token Trove, and that's where most people go. So if you want to list your cards for sale here, you can. You can also buy cards. And then, of course, there is the market in-game where you can buy and sell cards as well. Next up, we have the Star Store. So this is a brand new thing that just happened within the last week. You can earn a different amount of Starseed for your first 20 wins every single day. So you get 500 for your first, 250, and this is just an average, mind you. This is the median. This is the average. They can rank up, so you can get a little bit lucky and get a little bit more. So on average, your first 4 wins are worth 1,417. And then it starts to drop off. And at 10, it just drops off completely down to 50. And then you can't get any more after 20. So you can get a maximum of 2,700 on average. And what can you do with all this Starseed? Well, you can go to the market, click Star Store. And as a new player, there are core cards in here that you can just purchase with your Starseed. So these core cards are things that you'd normally have to unpack in a pack and get lucky and find one. So if you're looking for these specific cards, there's a daily deal and a weekly special, and you can just purchase them, and then they get added right into your collection. There is also a welcome set card as a welcome deal and a launch special of a shadow card. As a new player, cosmetics like shadow shiny cards may not be that helpful. You already have 2 Vanguard Axe Women to start because it is a welcome set card, as denoted by this icon in the upper right-hand corner. This is the core symbol in the upper right-hand corner of the Soothsayer. And you can see this is a welcome card as well, the Possessed Acolyte. And this is in a Meteor Shine, which is a little bit different than these 2 locked cards, but you already have 2 Possessed Acolytes as well. Every welcome card you already own. So as a new player, The Star Store will be great to just try and pick up daily deals to get some core cards. It's only 1,000. As I showed, you can get more than 2,000 a day if you grind. And you can easily get 1,400 a day just for 4 wins. So you could potentially be buying 1 or 2 daily deals a day if you want to save up for the special. This is a rare card as denoted by the coloring of the gems. Purple is epic, which is not shown here, and then there's legendary cards as well. We have no idea what will show up in the Star Store in the future, but these 2 options here right now, it's a very nice option to be able to just use your Starseed to buy some core cards and grow your collection. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you found it helpful. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll absolutely answer them. If you have something that you'd like me to cover for a future new player guide video, I'll absolutely add that to the list. And until next week, I'll see you guys later.